ladies and gentlemen. She is the kind of woman who builds rather than destroys, who guards rather than exploits. While others might chase fleeting pleasures or transient triumphs, she anchors herself to something deeper, something eternal. The winds of fashion may howl and the tides of opinion may shift, but she remains steadfast, unshaken by the noise. Quiet strength is not often celebrated in a world that prizes spectacle and noise. It does not demand attention or seek applause, yet it is one of the most profound forces in existence. This strength does not manifest in the shouts of dominance or the clamor for control, but in the ability to stand firm when others falter, to remain unshaken when life throws its fiercest storms. It is the resilience to endure not because it is easy, but because it is right. The rarest type of woman carries this strength with a grace that can go unnoticed by those who measure power in terms of outward displays. Her strength is born not from an untested heart, but from one that has faced trials, suffered losses, and encountered challenges that might break others. She does not boast of her endurance, she simply lives it. It is the strength of the oak tree, standing tall and unyielding even as the winds batter its branches and the seasons change. Her quiet strength is rooted in her understanding of what truly matters. She has learned that the loudest voices often carry the shallowest truths, and so she does not seek to match them in volume. Instead, she speaks with calm conviction, her words carrying the weight of sincerity and wisdom. When others rush to defend themselves or clamor for vindication, she remains composed, knowing that true strength does not require endless explanation or justification. There is a remarkable steadiness to her. She may be misunderstood, even criticized, but she does not allow these things to shake her. Her identity is not bound to the fleeting opinions of others, nor is her worth determined by their approval. She draws her strength from a deeper well, one that cannot run dry, and it sustains her even when external circumstances seem bleak. Her endurance is not merely an act of stubbornness or stoicism. It is a quiet act of defiance against despair, a refusal to give in to bitterness or cynicism. She chooses to endure with a heart that remains open, even when it has every reason to close itself off. This is not the kind of endurance that simply survives, it is the kind that thrives in the face of adversity, transforming suffering into growth and trials into opportunities for grace. She is unyielding not because she is unfeeling, but because she has cultivated an inner strength that carries her through even the darkest nights. Her strength is not diminished by tears, in fact, it is often in moments of vulnerability that her strength is most evident. She allows herself to feel, to grieve, to wrestle with the weight of life, yet she does not let these emotions define her or dictate her actions. Her endurance is most striking in the small, unseen acts that require immense strength over time. It is in her patience when waiting for change that seems long overdue. It is in her persistence in loving those who are difficult to love, in forgiving when forgiveness feels impossible, and in continuing to hope when hope appears foolish. She does not look for shortcuts or escape routes. She faces life as it is, armed with the quiet resolve to persevere. This strength is not innate, it is cultivated through choices made in the quiet recesses of her soul. It is a strength forged in the fires of patience, in the discipline of choosing faith over fear, and in the quiet conviction that what is right is worth pursuing, no matter the cost. It is a strength that grows with each act of selflessness, with each moment she chooses kindness over anger, and with each decision to press on when giving up would be easier. Her quiet strength is not flashy, and it may even be overlooked by those who equate power with dominance. Yet it is this strength that holds families together, that sustains friendships through hardships, and that carries communities through moments of crisis. It is a strength that does not crumble under pressure, but grows more resilient, more profound with every test it endures. To be anchored to eternal values is to live with a focus that transcends the passing whims of the world. It is to recognize that much of what clamors for attention, fame, fortune, and fleeting pleasures carries with it the weight of impermanence. The rarest type of woman understands this deeply. She knows that to tether herself to such things is to build her life upon shifting sands, and so she chooses a foundation that cannot be moved. Her values are not dictated by the trends of the day, which rise and fall with the fickleness of human opinion. She does not chase after every new ideology that promises fulfillment, nor does she bend her principles to suit the changing tides of culture. Instead, she clings to truths that have stood the test of time, truths that do not waver even as the world around her twists itself into knots trying to redefine them. This anchoring provides her with a clarity of purpose that is rare in a world filled with noise and distraction. She is not easily swayed by persuasive voices that tell her she must be someone she is not, nor is she enticed by the allure of immediate gratification. Her values give her a compass by which to navigate life's complexities, allowing her to discern what is worth pursuing and what is best left behind. Her decisions are not made hastily, for she measures them against a higher standard. While others may act out of impulse or convenience, she seeks wisdom. This often means she chooses the harder path, the one less traveled, because she understands that what is truly valuable is rarely easy to obtain. She does not seek shortcuts, for she knows that integrity cannot be rushed and character cannot be manufactured overnight. Her adherence to eternal values sets her apart, sometimes at great personal cost. There are moments when she feels the weight of being different, of standing firm when it would be far simpler to blend in. Yet she does not waver, for she has learned that compromise with the temporary often comes at the expense of the enduring. Her soul cannot be bought with promises of ease or comfort, for she values something far greater than worldly gain. In her relationships, this anchoring manifests as unwavering loyalty and genuine love. She does not view others as tools for her own advancement or as mere accessories to her life. Instead, she sees them as souls with infinite worth. Her values compel her to treat people with dignity and kindness, even when it is inconvenient or goes unreciprocated. She loves not because it benefits her, but because it reflects the higher truths she holds dear. Her sense of worth is not tied to the applause of others or to outward achievements. She does not define herself by titles, possessions, or the opinions of strangers. This frees her from the exhausting cycle of seeking validation from a world that is quick to judge and slow to praise. Her identity is rooted in something far deeper, something that cannot be shaken by criticism or inflated by praise. This anchoring also gives her a profound sense of peace. She does not live in fear of losing what she has, for her treasures are not material. While others may be consumed with anxiety over the volatility of life, over changing circumstances, shifting relationships, or the inevitability of aging, she rests in the assurance that the most important things are unchanging. This peace is not born of naivety, but of a deep trust in the enduring nature of truth and goodness. Her values guide her through every season of life, providing stability amidst the chaos. In times of prosperity, they remind her not to become arrogant or complacent. In times of difficulty, they sustain her, giving her the courage to press on even when hope seems faint. While others may flounder in the face of adversity, she remains steady, for her anchor holds firm. Even her understanding of success is shaped by these values. She does not measure her life by the standards of wealth or popularity, but by the impact she has on the lives of others and the integrity with which she lives. She seeks not to build an empire for herself, but to leave a legacy of love, wisdom, and truth that will endure long after her time on earth has passed. Her anchoring to eternal values gives her a unique perspective on suffering and joy. She does not view trials as meaningless or joy as something to be hoarded. Instead, she sees both as opportunities to grow in depth and understanding, to live more fully into the truths she holds dear. She is not easily discouraged by setbacks or inflated by successes, for her life is not defined by circumstances but by the principles that guide her through them. Her values are her guiding stars, illuminating her path, even when the way ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. While others may stumble in the darkness, overwhelmed by fear or doubt, she walks forward with confidence, trusting that the light of truth will never fail her. She does not claim to have all the answers, but she knows where to look for them, and she is not afraid to ask the difficult questions that lead to greater understanding. Her adherence to eternal values makes her life a quiet testament to something greater than herself. It shapes her decisions, her interactions, and even her innermost thoughts. It is not a burden she carries, but a source of freedom, for it allows her to live with purpose, clarity, and peace in a world that is often chaotic and uncertain. To live a life of building and nurturing is to embrace a calling that is quiet yet profoundly transformative. It is to dedicate oneself to creating and sustaining things of value, relationships, communities, and lives that do not simply appear but require care, intention, and persistence. The rarest type of woman chooses this path not because it is easy, but because she understands that the most worthwhile endeavors are often the ones that demand the greatest commitment. Building is not an act of mere construction, it is an art. To build is to take the raw materials of life circumstances, opportunities, and challenges and shape them into something meaningful and lasting. The rarest woman is a builder in the truest sense, for she does not seek to impose her will on the world, but to work with it, drawing out its hidden potential. She sees possibilities where others see obstacles, and she is not deterred by the magnitude of the task before her. In her home, this spirit of building manifests in countless small acts of care and service. She creates a space where love and peace can flourish, where those who enter feel seen and valued. It is not the grandeur of the home that matters to her, but the spirit within it. She invests herself in the lives of those she loves, building relationships that are deep and enduring. This work is often unseen by the world, yet it forms the foundation upon which lives are shaped. Nurturing is the companion to building, for what is built must also be sustained. The rarest woman understands that it is not enough to create, one must also cultivate. She is patient in this work, knowing that true growth takes time. Whether it is the growth of a child, the strengthening of a friendship, or the healing of a wounded soul, she approaches each task with gentleness and persistence. She does not force growth, but she creates the conditions in which it can thrive. Her nurturing extends beyond the walls of her home. In her community, she is a quiet force for good, bringing people together and fostering a spirit of cooperation and mutual respect. She invests in the lives of others not for personal gain, but because she sees the intrinsic value in every person. She is the one who notices when someone is struggling, who offers encouragement when it is needed most, and who lends a hand without expecting anything in return. This life of building and nurturing is not without its challenges. There are times when the work feels endless, when the fruits of her labor seem invisible or unappreciated. Yet she does not give up, for she is motivated not by recognition but by the knowledge that her efforts matter. She understands that the things she builds and nurtures, though they may go unnoticed by many, have the power to shape lives and influence generations to come. Her work is often slow and deliberate, for she knows that shortcuts rarely lead to lasting results. Whether she is teaching a child, mending a relationship, or contributing to her community, she approaches each task with care and attention to detail. She is not in a hurry, for she values depth over speed, quality over quantity. Her work is not about immediate results, but about creating something that will endure. Her nurturing spirit is rooted in a deep sense of empathy and compassion. She is attuned to the needs of others, often sensing what they require before they ask. She gives of herself freely, not because she is obligated to, but because it is in her nature to do so. Her nurturing is not a sign of weakness, but of great strength, for it takes courage to care deeply and to invest oneself in the well-being of others. She builds and nurtures not just people but also ideas and dreams. She has the vision to see what could be, and she works tirelessly to bring it to fruition. She is not afraid to start small, knowing that even the mightiest structures begin with a single stone. She nurtures dreams with the same care she gives to people, tending to them with patience and perseverance until they take root and grow. Her life of building and nurturing is not confined to grand gestures or dramatic acts. It is found in the small, everyday moments: the kind word, the thoughtful gesture, the quiet support given when no one else notices. It is in these moments that her true impact is felt, for they create a ripple effect that extends far beyond what she can see. She understands that building and nurturing require sacrifice. It is not always easy to put the needs of others before her own, to invest time and energy into work that may not bring immediate rewards. Yet she chooses this path because she knows that what she builds and nurtures will outlast her, leaving a legacy of love and goodness that will endure long after she is gone. Her life is a testament to the power of building and nurturing, to the quiet strength required to create and sustain what is good and beautiful in the world. It is not a life of ease, but it is a life of purpose, filled with moments of profound connection and lasting impact. Humility is a quality often misunderstood and rarely celebrated in a world that prizes self-promotion and personal gain. Yet it is one of the most profound virtues, a strength disguised as simplicity and a power cloaked in gentleness. The rarest type of woman embodies humility in a way that sets her apart, for her humility is neither an act of weakness nor a lack of confidence. Instead, it is a quiet acknowledgement of her place in the grander story of life, a refusal to make herself the center of the universe. She does not seek to diminish herself, nor does she feign ignorance of her abilities. Humility does not require her to think less of herself, but to think of herself less. She understands that true humility is not self-deprecation, but an honest recognition of both her strengths and her limitations. This honesty allows her to move through the world with grace, unburdened by the need to prove herself or assert her worth at every turn. Her humility is evident in the way she listens. She does not dominate conversations or seek to impose her opinions on others. Instead, she listens with genuine interest and empathy, valuing the perspectives of those around her. She does not listen to prepare her rebuttal or to highlight her own knowledge, but to understand, to connect, and to learn. In this way, her humility creates space for others to feel seen and heard, fostering an environment of mutual respect and trust. Her selflessness flows naturally from her humility. Because she does not see herself as more important than others, she is free to serve without seeking recognition or reward. She gives of herself not out of obligation or a desire for praise, but out of a deep well of compassion and love. Her acts of kindness often go unnoticed, but this does not trouble her, for she does not seek validation in the eyes of others. Selflessness is not an easy path, for it requires sacrifice. The rarest woman knows this well, yet she embraces the cost. She gives her time, her energy, and even her resources to meet the needs of others. She is not concerned with keeping score or ensuring that her contributions are reciprocated. Instead, she gives freely, trusting that the act of giving is its own reward. Her humility allows her to take joy in the successes of others. She does not feel threatened by their achievements, nor does she seek to compare herself to them. When someone else shines, she does not feel the need to diminish their light to make hers appear brighter. Instead, she celebrates wholeheartedly, finding genuine happiness in their joy. This lack of envy is a testament to the depth of her humility, for it takes great strength to rejoice in the good fortune of others without feeling overshadowed. Her selflessness is perhaps most evident in her relationships. She invests deeply in the lives of those she loves, often putting their needs above her own. This does not mean she neglects herself or allows others to take advantage of her. Rather, it means she approaches her relationships with a spirit of generosity and a willingness to serve. She is the one who offers support without being asked, who notices the unspoken needs of others and quietly meets them. Her humility also allows her to admit when she is wrong. She does not cling to her pride or refuse to acknowledge her mistakes. Instead, she sees them as opportunities for growth and reconciliation. She apologizes sincerely and seeks to make amends, not because she feels weak, but because she values truth and harmony more than her own ego. This willingness to admit fault is a rare and beautiful quality, one that fosters trust and deepens her relationships. Selflessness requires her to endure challenges that others might avoid. She is willing to inconvenience herself for the sake of others, to go the extra mile even when it is not expected or required. This does not mean she allows herself to be used or mistreated. Her selflessness is not rooted in a lack of boundaries, but in a deliberate choice to prioritize love and kindness over convenience and comfort. Her humility protects her from the pitfalls of arrogance and self-importance. She does not see herself as above others, nor does she demand special treatment. She is just as willing to serve as she is to lead, and she does not consider any task beneath her. Whether she is performing a grand act of service or attending to the smallest detail, she approaches each task with the same spirit of humility and selflessness. Her selflessness extends to those who may never repay her kindness. She does not limit her generosity to those who are grateful or deserving. She extends it to all, knowing that the value of her actions is not diminished by the response they receive. This is perhaps the truest form of selflessness, for it expects nothing in return and gives without condition. Her humility also allows her to see the worth in others, even when they cannot see it themselves. She has a unique ability to draw out the best in people, to help them recognize their own potential and worth. She does not seek to dominate or control, but to empower and uplift. Her humility makes her approachable, while her selflessness makes her trustworthy. Together, these qualities create an environment where others feel safe to grow and thrive. This combination of humility and selflessness creates a profound impact on those around her. She does not seek to change the world through grand gestures or dramatic actions. Instead, she changes it one small act at a time, one life at a time, often without even realizing the full extent of her influence. Her humility keeps her grounded, while her selflessness lifts others, creating a ripple effect of goodness that extends far beyond her immediate circle. Transformative influence is not about exerting power or control over others. It is about inspiring change in ways that are profound, lasting, and deeply rooted in truth. The rarest type of woman wields this influence not through force or dominance, but through the quiet strength of her character, the depth of her wisdom, and the authenticity of her life. She does not seek to transform others for her own gain, nor does she impose her will on them. Instead, she becomes a catalyst for growth and renewal simply by living in alignment with her highest values. Her influence begins within. She understands that to inspire transformation in others, she must first be willing to undergo transformation herself. She does not shy away from self-examination, from the hard work of addressing her own flaws and weaknesses. This process of inner growth is neither quick nor easy, but it is essential, for she knows that true influence flows from a place of integrity. Her willingness to embrace change in her own life gives her the credibility and authenticity to encourage others to do the same. Her transformative influence is often subtle, almost imperceptible at first. It is not marked by grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but by the quiet consistency of her actions. She models the kind of life she hopes to inspire in others, demonstrating through her choices and behavior what it means to live with purpose, courage, and compassion. This authenticity is magnetic, drawing others toward her not because she demands attention, but because she embodies something they instinctively recognize as good and true. In her relationships, her influence is seen in the way she encourages growth and healing. She does not seek to change people to fit her own expectations or desires. Instead, she nurtures their inherent potential, creating an environment where they feel safe to explore, learn, and grow. She is patient, understanding that transformation is a process that cannot be rushed. Her influence is not about forcing change, but about fostering the conditions in which it can occur naturally. Her words carry weight, not because she speaks loudly or often, but because she speaks with intention and wisdom. She does not offer advice carelessly or impose her opinions on others. Instead, she listens deeply, seeking to understand before she speaks. When she does share her thoughts, her words resonate because they come from a place of genuine care and thoughtful reflection. She has a way of saying what others need to hear, even if it is not what they want to hear, and her honesty is tempered with kindness. Her transformative influence extends beyond her immediate circle. In her community, she becomes a source of inspiration and a force for positive change. She does not seek to lead in the traditional sense, yet others naturally look to her for guidance and direction. This is because her actions align with her values, and her commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult, earns her the respect and trust of those around her. Her influence is not confined to any single sphere of life. It permeates everything she does, from the way she approaches her work to the way she treats strangers. She recognizes that transformation often begins in the smallest, most mundane moments, in a kind word spoken at the right time, in a gesture of compassion that seems insignificant, but leaves a lasting impact. She understands that these moments, though small, have the power to ripple outward, touching lives she may never even meet. Her transformative influence is not about perfection. She does not pretend to have all the answers or to be without fault. In fact, it is often her vulnerability and honesty about her own struggles that inspire others the most. She is not afraid to admit when she has failed or to share the lessons she has learned along the way. This humility makes her relatable and approachable, allowing others to see that transformation is not about achieving an ideal, but about continually striving to become the best version of oneself. She has a unique ability to see the potential in others, even when they cannot see it themselves. Her belief in their capacity for growth often becomes the spark that ignites their own journey of transformation. She does not seek credit for this. She is content to stand in the background, watching quietly as others begin to flourish. Her influence is not about making others dependent on her, but about empowering them to discover their own strength and purpose. Her transformative influence is rooted in a deep sense of hope. She believes that change is always possible, that even the most difficult circumstances can be redeemed, and that every person has the capacity to grow and improve. This hope is not naive or blind to reality. It is grounded in her understanding of the resilience of the human spirit and the power of grace. Her hope is contagious, inspiring others to believe in themselves and in the possibility of a better future. She does not measure her influence by immediate results or visible outcomes. She knows that transformation is often a slow and unseen process, one that unfolds over time in ways that cannot always be predicted or measured. She is content to plant seeds, trusting that they will grow in their own time and in their own way. Her influence is not about control, but about trust in the process of growth, in the goodness of others, and in the enduring power of truth and love. Her transformative influence leaves a lasting legacy. It is not the kind of legacy that is written about in history books or celebrated with awards and accolades. Instead, it is a legacy that lives on in the lives she has touched, in the hearts she has encouraged, and in the changes she has inspired. Her influence is quiet, almost invisible, yet it is profound, shaping the world in ways that are both subtle and far-reaching.